Welcome to Come Forever number 2. This is Chit Chat 1. So I'm going to do the racist video last. I'm going to do the dating video first. There will be 3 of them, and then we're going to talk about them. Okay? So, here we go. So this young lady was talking about stuff.
Especially if y'all break up, there's so much freaking drama.
It's not relevant.
Okay, so for context, go watch that. It doesn't have much to do with this video except for the breaking up part. So here's the thing about breaking up with people. First, you have to establish that it's going to be a full breakup. That there's no coming back, that there's no chance of winning back. Otherwise, this shit causes problems. Trust me. I've been on the receiving end of this. So, here's the thing. Breaking up doesn't have to be difficult. What has to happen during a breakup is the fact that you both need to come to an amicable decision, and that it needs to be broken up on fairly decent terms. I know that sounds impossible, but here's the thing. If you actually sit down and talk to people when you break up, you won't get into trouble. And I wouldn't have gotten into trouble if my ex would have just sit there and literally spoke to me on how you fall out of love overnight. Alright? So when I went to court because of my ex, because I was trying to win her back, it would have been as easy as fuck for her to sit there and talk to me like a fucking human being and tell me, look, we've run our course. I don't think I love you. I don't think I ever loved you. And I want to end this before it gets too far. Well, for me, it had already gotten too far because I wanted to marry the girl, And I'm pretty sure that if we would have, had a conversation, like a literal conversation instead of what I got, which was, you can't come see me anymore, relationships are overrated. Not, we need to have a talk about why we're going to break up. We're just going to break the fuck up. I'm not going to give you a reason. You're not cheating on me. I'm not cheating on you. But I don't want nothing to do with you anymore. And it's not that difficult to literally have a conversation. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be painful. And somebody's going to be hurt a lot more than the other person. But I'd rather you hurt me to my face and get that shit over with than sit here and have me wondering for years, what the fuck did I do wrong when I didn't do anything wrong? And I'm only told, you can't come see me anymore, relationships are overrated. And then that same person, with less than 5 months, decides they want to be with somebody older than myself and herself, and even up there into, she jumped from me to somebody older, to somebody younger, to somebody older again. And, it would have just helped for her to say, look, at the beginning of the relationship, this is what I want. We're going to have fun. We're going to be friends with benefits, situationship. Anything would have been better than what I got. Alright, there'll be a part 2. This is part 2. The thing you have to understand about relationships is that one person will be more in love than the other person. And if you, unfortunately, like me, happen to be the person that was more in love than the other person, the relationship breakup is going to be harder on you. Now, the relationship that I was in, we had an issue of breaking up every 3 days. So when we finally broke the fuck up after 2 years, I didn't know if it was a real breakup or not, because every time we broke up, I was always called back. I never made the call back because I had accepted the fact that we broke up. And then 3 days later, I'm getting a call. Why haven't you come see me? And I'm like, you broke up with me. You straight told me we broke up. You see the confusion? And you break up with somebody every 3 fucking days. That's like something that y'all need to be aware of. Like, straight the fuck up. If you're with a girl or with a guy and they break up with you every 3 days and then call you back, no. You need to get the hell away from that. Because then you'll wind up like me. You'll be the one that's hurt. You'll be the one that falls more in love and do all the things that love makes you do. And then you'll be dumped. With not even a real conversation on why you're being dumped. Just, relationships are overrated. You can't come see me anymore. So, as the story goes, because I don't tell y'all no lies, I'll probably take this to my YouTube channel because where I can make it all in one video. And if y'all want that, I'll do that tonight so y'all can understand what's going on. But, here's the thing. If you don't want to be with somebody, or if you only want them for maybe sex or whatever situation, you need to be honest with that person. And that person needs to learn how to cut off their fucking feelings and their emotions, because otherwise it's gonna wind up really fucking bad, like it did for me. I wrote my ex-fiance fucking 49 and some change love songs. Sung them to her. Like, not all at the same time. I think I sung like 2 songs to her, which is how I wound up going to court. And I gave her some text on her birthday. And so, if you think you can't go to court or jail for texting people, you are wrong. This is why I don't text people, period. It's like, don't text me. If you got something to say, you call me. Do not text me. I will not text you back unless it's a fucking emergency. But, yeah, that's how I got a harassment charge on me. And there are things that, you know, I didn't, like, stalk her or anything. I sent her 2 text messages. That's it. And I wound up in court for that shit. If you think I'm ever going to text message anybody else ever the fuck again, the answer is hell no. Because I never thought that I would to have to go to court for that shit. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo. And then the judge, he read the text. And he read them to me. And I'll tell you the rest in part 3. And then I'm going to just make this damn thing a YouTube video. So then you guys, if you can find me on YouTube, you'll find the video. I'll probably be rocking the same shirt. That being said, be seeing you.
I'll pause it first. I almost said I almost went to jail. Let me clarify. I didn't go to jail, but I went to court. I didn't have to go in handcuffs. I had a court date, and I had called the judge, and they set the court date up, and I was there at 9:30. The case wasn't until 10 o'clock. I was there at 9:30. It's like they're not going to send me to jail for being late to court. Anyway, I made the court. Here's some more, and then we'll get into it.
So here's part 3, and you can find this whole set. I'm gonna do the whole thing on YouTube tonight at some point, at some time. The problem was, I didn't take the breakup serious because, like I said, we were together for 2 complete years, and she broke up a week before our 2nd year anniversary after going to see Twilight. Whatever one it was, I don't know, I don't care. I never saw the rest of them because of this shit. But anyway, the fact of the matter was, we broke up every 3 fucking days. Every 3 days. So I had to explain that to the judge, like, hey dude, how am I supposed to know if the breakup was real when we break up every 3 days? So the judge scanned the room looking for her. She never showed up, and the judge had a good talk with me, and I never made no more contact with the girl since. Now, she does speak to me every now and again on Facebook because of the loophole in the law that says she can contact me till the cows come home. I just can't contact her. So that's how that works. So you don't have to worry about me ever contacting her, and may God help her if she ever needs me, because she made it illegal for me to help her. Anyway, the story goes like this. We had a great night, our last night. I didn't know that the shit was over, because, like I said, we broke up every 3 days. And when that breakup happened, you know, I went to work, I came back to her house, I cleaned her dishes and do the stuff I normally did, and before it was over, it was over. And I just didn't know it was over. And then I found out it was over. I got that goddamn call from the cops. So, and when I say that, they literally came to my house. The sheriff came to my house and gave me my warrant, and I went to court and everything. And the judge said that he couldn't arrest me because I didn't threaten the girl, and I wasn't stalking her because I didn't know where she had moved to, and I wasn't about that life. So, sitting in court, I'm explaining to the judge, and he's like, here's what you're going to do. You can love her from afar. Your safest bet is to get as far away from her as fucking possible. And don't make no contact with her, don't make no contact with her family, and if y'all have friends that are mutuals together, don't really reach out to them and ask them questions about her. And from that point on, that's exactly what I did. I did everything the judge said. I didn't contact anybody. I was a prisoner in my home for like 5 years, yo. Because up until last year, might have been longer than that, up until last year, she was the furthest thing from my mind. And I never reached out for her after that shit. And I was like, you know what? Because this happened after I got out of the Army. And I was like, you know what? I had a moment of weakness. You know? And after that, I don't have moments of weaknesses with women anymore. But the whole point is, you know, if you're going to be in a relationship with someone and it's going to come to an end, fucking talk. Be honest. Don't put anybody, whether they're a male or female, through the bullshit that don't have to be. Just fucking talk. Communication is key to relationships. I'm done talking. We'll see you. So here's part 3. And
so you're going to see me now on YouTube. I will dig out the 50 songs in a minute. But before we do, the problem was really simple. You know, she didn't know what she wanted. She also was hurt by many people before I came in. So, I guess it made her feel like a woman to fuck me up. Alright? And she did a damn good job. I do not hold any ill will to her, and I will not be mentioning her name. And yes, she speaks to me on Facebook. I help her with her little situation, but I don't help her like as in go literally give her help. She asks me things, I tell her things. I do not bring up the relationship because it's over and I no longer give a fuck what went wrong. Alright? See, once you go to court over dumb shit, your I no longer give a fuck meter goes way the fuck up. And my no longer give a fuck meter not only has gone way up, that bitch is in outer space. Alright? So I don't give a fuck. And as I have told her plenty of times, I can't help you. If you need physical help, I can't help you. You made me a criminal. Like literally, you made it impossible for me to be able to help you at all. If you were getting beat up, you can call me all you want. I can't help you. I know that sounds horrible, but hey, she did that shit to herself. Because the other people that did shit to her before she met me, she never called the cops on the motherfuckers. But the one guy that would have loved her for the rest of her life, oh, she called the cops on my ass. Had me sitting in court. And so we're going to talk about that. So when I went to court for harassment. Apparently there is no statute of limitations on harassment. Alright? So I'm being open and honest with y'all because there's no point in lying about this shit. And the thing is, I didn't know this shit was going to happen. Like I said, she broke up with me every 3 days. Now, when I say every 3 days, let's clarify, it's yay so many months in a year. So every 3 days is like maybe 2 or 3 times a month, you know. And at some point, at some time, you either gonna be like, all right, well, what do I do? And I was that, what the fuck do I do? Because I didn't know if the relationship was really broken up or not. Because 3 days go by, why aren't you here? Why don't you come over? Why can't you spend a night? Can you go buy me a soda? Can you do this? Now, my car, the one my dad died in, that motherfucker never really stayed functioning most of the time. I mean, it was functioning great before I met her. And then for some reason, my car just didn't want to fucking operate right. And the base mechanic that I would go to, that would cost me an arm and a leg, whatever he did, and it didn't work out. And then I got a new mechanic who's very fair, so if you guys need a mechanic in Charlottesville, Virginia, go see Matt at By Word of Mouth Auto. He will get you straight. Anyway, that's a free plug for you, Matt. I know you don't watch this shit, but remember, it's By Word of Mouth Automotive. Good guy, good people, go see him. Anyway, so I tried to win her back when we broke up. I literally did everything under the sun to try to win this girl back. I didn't know that it was borderline harassment until I had to go to court. Once I got to court, I figured it out real motherfucking quick. So we're going to talk about it. I went to court. The judge was dealing with somebody else's case because it was domestic violence. And so he called me, and I went up to the court, and I stood and did the protocol of what I was supposed to do. And then he said he called her name. He called her name like 5 times. He looked all around. Then he looked at me and said, "Is she in here?" I was like, "No, sir." He's like, "Well, she needs to show up within the next 2 minutes because this case that was before you is a little bit more important." And I was like, "Hey, honestly, I don't want to be here." And I said, if I'd known I was going to get into trouble with a fucking text message, I wouldn't have damn text messaged her. He said, "Yeah, and the love songs too." I said, "Yeah, man, I know." He said, "I didn't hear the love songs, so I don't know if you have a good singing voice. But I did read the text messages." So he called the name a couple more times, and within that 5-minute frame, she never showed up. He said, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm dropping these charges." Which he kind of dropped the charges and kind of didn't drop the charges. Because his exact words were, if you harass her again or make physical or telephone contact with her, I'm going to arrest your ass. And I was like, okay. So you basically telling me no phone calls, no text messages, no Facebook, no none of that shit. Right. And I was like, okay. And he said, some other shit, and he gave me some good advice. And his advice was, if you really love her, let her go. If it's meant to be, she'll come back to you. And if she don't, son, well, then you just got to find somebody else and live your life. And at the time, I really didn't have any hope with women after this. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather just die single because I couldn't be with her, and that's how deeply in love my dumb ass was. I'm good now. I'm exceptionally good now. But it's just the principle of when you look at your shit years before versus how you are now, and you've grown a lot. And so, you know, I never thought that I would ever even look at another woman the way I looked at her. And I never thought that I would ever even fall in love with another woman. And I have a crush on a woman that I want to marry so bad. And if you've been here, y'all know who she is. But we won't go there. But that's her symbol. Anyway, so with the ex, I fell in love with her every day. Which is what made the relationship breakup so hard. Is because I constantly fell in love with her. And it was more me than her. And I would tell her how beautiful she was. I would talk to her all the time. And had I known then what I know now, I would have never got involved with her in the first place. So let me give you the story before we go back to court. My life was so much worse before she came into it. I had so much family baggage that I'm still cutting through now as we speak. Then when I met her, my plan was before I met her, because we was going to Canada, I won't come home. Not alive at any rate. Because I was going to go to a bar and start a fight with the biggest dog in that motherfucker and just let him beat me to death. Glad that didn't happen. Because I met her. Also, unfortunately, as a martial artist, the hardest thing a martial artist can do is not fight back. So, and my body will protect itself. I've learned that over the years of just not being able to stand there and let somebody beat my ass. It's just not going to fucking happen. So, back to the court case. And he looked around, he scanned her, he called her, couldn't find her. And he said, look, I can't arrest you. I read your text messages. There's not one threatening word in those text messages. You really love this girl, son. A love like that is rare. It's just unfortunate that she does not feel the same. And you need to accept that. Look, I got 2 daughters, man. They both are married. Their husbands are good men. Their husbands love my daughters the way you love this girl. Unfortunately for you, you're not going to get your happy ending. And then he asked me something. And his exact question was, so if she was here, what would you want? I said, I don't want nothing but one thing. The truth. All she would have to do is tell me what the fuck we broke up for. And you and her would never see me the fuck again. I would fucking leave this goddamn town without so much as looking back. I'll be homeless wherever the fuck I go. But I would leave this town because then I would finally know the fucking truth on why the fuck or how the fuck you can fall out of love overnight. You know, because everything was on track. I got the rings. 1 second. I'm a poor man, so I didn't make a lot of money. But as a martial artist, I got that one because I thought it would be cute. And I thought she might like it. This is the first ring I got because I talked to her friend, but I didn't get the ring size. So this ring was too big. This ring, on the other hand, was the perfect size. I got the right size from her friend this time, and I went and got the goddamn ring. Now, before I got the chance to pop the question, the relationship was finally over. So, that was an issue, you know, because the night before, like I said, damn it, we went to go see Twilight. I didn't want to go see it. I paid for the damn movie, but I didn't want to go see it. But you know that saying, happy wife, happy life, and I had every intention. Sorry about that. I had every intention on making her my wife. There was no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I was going to marry this girl. So these were my songs. The album that I wrote was called the unconditional love of Wedding Bell Blues. Because I had unconditional love for her, and she gave me Wedding Bell Blues. The first song right out of the gate was called You're Worth Fighting For. The other song was called Our First Snow. Then there was You Used to Love Me, the best part of me. Not my first love, but my best love. Money runs out, but love don't. My heaven is you. The lie I lived. You used to make me brownies. One of those, like Our First Snow and You Used to Make Me Brownies is here somewhere on Kung Fu Havoc number 2. I cry a lonely tear every day. How do I do more? Or, excuse me, how do I move on knowing I still love you? You're throwing it all away. The pain of my shame. We're at 14 now. Where there's a will, there's a way. Holding on to love. The love of my life. Dark days ahead. Endless love never dies. Wasting away. Love songs make me sad. Lost in love. Broken man with a broken soul. Love Too Deep Part 1, Love Too Deep Part 2. Life After You. My Life is a Tragedy. Throwing Me Away. Finding You. She Never Told Me Why. That was a good one. Also a true one. You Keep Pushing Me Away From You. It's a Gray Day. Bleeding Hearts. Now all these things that are like marked were all done. Especially the 2 title songs, which are on the back. We are at 33, by the way. Bitterness, Sorrow, or Endless Sorrow. Unconditional Love. Wedding Bell Blues. Thinking of You. I Wish I Was the New Man in Your Life. I'm Your Biggest Defender. Without You in My Life. She Made the Right Move at the Wrong Time for Me. Which is true. She definitely made the right move at the wrong time for me. Bad Things Happen for a Reason. The Price I Pay for Love. Stronger with You. Growing Gray with You. Tears for My Princess. You Hurt Me Because Someone Hurt You. Again, totally true. Hopelessly in Love with You. Almost Married. And Should Have Been. Should Have Been and Almost Married are also on this channel somewhere. Y'all should go take a listen to them. But I have 49 songs. And that's just the first album. I wrote 2 more. I don't know what I did with them. I don't think they're in this folder. Because these are waivers like for movie shit that I had made for my... If I ever made any more movies and shit, right? So, but each one of those was like 30 some odd songs too. Stranger in My Own Hometown, 1021 King Street. There's another one. 1021 was an actual address in which she actually stayed. So yeah, I went all out, y'all. I went all out. 1 or 2 of these songs is one of the ones that the judge didn't get to hear, but was written down. So that was an issue. And you know, again, I say to y'all, as I say to everyone, you know, none of this shit would have ever happened if we would have sat down like fucking adults. I was 36 years old. She was 29, I think. And she couldn't be an adult and sit down and tell me how she fell out of love with me overnight. No, we had some pretty decent sex the night we broke up. Now, prior to that, sex stopped being about us and started being about her. Alright? And that's when shit started getting complicated, but I'm stupid, so I didn't realize it because I was happy just to have sex, even if it was only oral sex, and even if I was the only one giving it and not receiving it. And then when it got time to have actual sex, she always said no. So I was like, okay. And I didn't ask any questions about the shit. I'm just a dumbass. I respected her, and I didn't fucking feel that it was necessary for me to continue when she said no. I was like, okay, well, I ain't gonna worry about it. I go to bed. Downside of that, she slept naked. So I had to put pillows between her and me. so I wouldn't roll over in my sleep and be in places that I ain't supposed to be. So, then I would get up early and go home, unless I had to go to work, because work was down the street from our house. So then I just go to work, and then I go home and take a shower and finish off the rest of my day. Wouldn't have been that damn difficult to just sit there and have a conversation. So I'm telling you guys that that's what you need to do. If you are a woman, if you are a man, you need to sit down and have a conversation. It's not going to be a comfortable conversation. It's not going to be an easy conversation. It's going to be a hardcore conversation. But it needs to be had. So that as a woman, you are not afraid of your boyfriend. And as a man, you're not afraid your girlfriend's going to take you to jail over dumb shit. I literally went to fucking court over dumb shit. Also, clarification. The sheriff came and talked to my family. They left the warrant, but then came back to talk to me. And I talked to the female sheriff, and she was telling me she went through some similar shit with her boyfriend who became her husband, which gave me a small spark of hope. But after I got to court, all that hope went slam out the window. And then when the judge asked me, he said, if it's one thing that you want me to do, or if she was here, what I would have done, what would that be? I said, oh, that would be easy. Make her tell me the fucking truth. Because if you lie in court, you're going to fuck the jail. Regardless. Because perjury, lying to a judge, that shit's illegal as fuck. And I was like, all you would ever had to do was make her tell me why. And make sure she tells me the 1000% the truth. And then you would never fucking see me again. He said, yeah, I understand that. I said, well, so what do we do? He said, well, you going home. Because I can't arrest you. You did not threaten her. You don't know where she lives. I said, no, I know where she used to live. I ain't been nowhere near there within like 3 or 4 years. He said, so what happened? Her birthday happened. I had a moment of weakness, sir. I had no intention of calling her until I looked at my watch. So what I did was, and I give her name, but her birthday was February 28th. And I never forgot that shit, because I got her all kinds of gifts. After we broke up, every year on her birthday, I bought her gifts, trying to win her back, until I went to court. After that, no. No. So, gentlemen, take some advice from an idiot who's a lot smarter than he looks. Make sure that if y'all are breaking up every 3 days, you break up permanently. Block her, erase her calls, get away from that shit. That whole entire event has ruined my life. When I left my home, I went to work, I went to school. That's it. Everywhere that I used to go, I took her. Those are her places now. Let me tell you why I said that. If I don't choke on the Slim Jim. Because it was also part of what the judge said. With the no contact. I hope the dog ain't pooped outside my door. We're going to finish this real freaking quick. So, before we got to the end of the case, he was like, well, everywhere that you took her, don't go there no more. Those are her places now. You are no longer going to go there, just in case. So if she's going to have cops again, you going to jail. I said, damn. I said, what if she outside my damn house? Go back in. And then we got to the last part. Now, I have forgiven. I have not forgotten. And now I will bring you up to speed. Our current day. Oh, excuse me. So last year, up until last year, she was the furthest thing from my mind. Furthest thing from my mind. Now, here's the part that you're going to find unbelievable, but it's 99.9. I had this statistics class, and I was taking it. Now, the night before statistics class, I went to sleep, and I dreamed that she would contact me. And I woke up mad. It's like, my God, I hope she don't contact me. I went to statistics class. I came home. I don't even know how the fuck she got my cell phone number. Because the number I used way back then was no longer my cell phone number. And it really doesn't matter because after court, she had sent me a text. It said like FG or FGHG. I have no idea what that was. I had people look it up. It was like a hotel or some bullshit. And I was like, well, I'm damn sure not going anywhere near there. Then I had porn on my phone, which caused a virus, which made it dial her phone, even though I had deleted all her shit out of my phone number except for that text that I didn't know existed. And then I went to the cops to make sure they noticed it. And then I served that phone back to where it belongs. So after that, I got everywhere I needed to go done. And now we back up to speed the night after the statistics class. I was sitting in the house. I was either playing video games or I was watching TV. And our mutual friend called. I'm leaving her name out too. And you know, when people you haven't spoke to in a long time call you, you just be like baffled. And so she called me. I was like, hello? She's like, you know who this is? I was like, no. He's like, you know who I am. I said, well, you sound like a friend of mine, but I really don't know who you are. And how'd you get this phone number? So the friend revealed who she was. And we got to talking. Not knowing the girl that got me in trouble was sitting right beside her. And so we got to talking because she started going through some shit with boyfriend problems or whatever. And this is the words I told my friend, who's also her friend. I said, look, I'm always going to have love for her, but I'm not going to allow myself to fall back in love with her. If she wants to have sex or some shit, we could have done that. The problem is, she done made it illegal for me to even be talking to her on the phone or anywhere else. And he's like, well, that was years ago. I said, hey, there's no statute of limitation. He's like, how do you figure that? I said, because there's no statute of limitation. He's like, what? I said, here's what we'll do. Because we got to talking that night. And I said, by the time the phone call was over, I said, here's what we're going to do. I will call the police station tomorrow. I will get my records. I will take a picture and I will text it to you. And sure as fuck, I did that shit the very next day. Got up, made the phone call. They told me they could have it within like 2 or 3 hours. And I went down there and I got them papers. They're in this drawer somewhere. I took pictures and I sent them to the friend that called me. I did not send them to the girl that got me in this fix in the first place. And then she had called me back. She said, damn, your life has been fucked up. I said, yeah. I said, yeah, pretty much. I said, it's illegal for me to talk to her. And I said, I went to the police when we had the little porn incident, which is how there's a loophole. Now, the loophole is simple because this is what the cops told me. The only way that I could stop her from calling me was to press charges. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that shit. I ain't that damn sneaky and I ain't that damn dirty. I'm not that low down. I'm just not going to fucking deal with that shit. I said, well, if there's a problem and you want to call us, we have the fact that she texted you after court. So, you know, if she tries to pull that shit again, we got you. And I was like, all right, well, I ain't going to worry about it. I said, well, you can always press charges. I said, why? So I can be as worthless as she is to do that shit? Because that was like some cruel shit. She should have never done that shit. Which would have been prevented if we would have just fucking had an adult conversation. But no! Which is why y'all all need to have adult conversations when y'all gonna break up with somebody. Whether you are a man or a woman, have a motherfucking adult conversation. Because you can really fuck somebody's life up. Now, there's no criminal charges pressed against me. But this shit is gonna be over my head until the day I die. It really is. So, in any job I get when they do a background check, they're not gonna find anything illegal. But if they look deep enough, they'll find that. And it was like, oh, it looks like you had a harassment charge. And then I got to break it down and explain to them all that shit. It's like, yeah, I had an harassment charge. I can't fucking lie about it because, you know, you got to find it any goddamn way. Like Baskin Robbins for Ant-Man. So, yeah, they're going to find it. Yeah, it was like, yeah, we see you got a harassment charge back here and such and such. Yeah. I was like, you want to tell us about that? I was like, nope. I say, what difference does it make? You're either going to give me the job now or you're not. Which is another reason why I would much rather be an actor, because it's not going to matter if I have a little harassment charge. I know not to talk to people no more. I know that when it's time to go home, it's time to go home. Fuck that bullshit. It's time to stop talking. It's time to stop talking. No. But all of it could have been prevented by the simple words, let's sit down and have a conversation. I've never physically put my hands on a girl, or any girl that wasn't kin to me. No. But the thing was, you know, it didn't have to happen in the first goddamn place. All she had to do was just tell me the truth. I never loved you. I was using you for fun. We had a good time. You had a good time. And I'm going to tell you right now, had I known that was the case from day one, we would have just did the nasty and went on about my business. I wouldn't even have went back. Yeah, I might have went back once or twice more. But I wouldn't have got that so fucking deep in love with her that when she called me at 2 a.m. in the snow to come dig her ass out, I got up and went to go dig her out. No, because she had to work the night shift. And that's why I didn't go over there. So I snowboarded over there, dug her out, went the fuck back home. First thing in the morning when she got off, she picked me up. We went to her house. Did the do. Then she went on back to sleep and I went the fuck on home. But like I said, had I known that it wasn't going to be a real relationship, it would have never happened. But I didn't know. Which is another reason why when you start a relationship with someone, be open and honest from the jump. Let them know what you want. Do not play with people's emotions. Do not say, we're going to be in this relationship and see where it goes. No, fuck that, because you're fucking somebody over. And you're going to ruin them for the next person that comes along, which could be very well the love of their life. And because you got hurt, don't use that as an excuse to hurt other people. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Hour number 2. Be seeing you.